It also kind of relates to that, like self-sabotage. Behaviors or thought patterns that create problems in your daily life and interfere with your long-term goals. So it's like you have this goal of, I don't know, becoming better hip hop dancer and you don't go to classes kind of thing. That would be like self-sabotage, where it's kind of like you have these goals, you have these things you want to achieve, but at the same time, you do kind of anything but that to actually progress towards that thing. And I find it fascinating how it's kind of like you want it, but you actually don't want it, or some part of you doesn't want it or doesn't believe you deserve it or you're capable of, or whatever might be the story.
Take those things you had told yourself you could not do, or you were not good at, or you were stuck in your body and could not change. And now it's time to test that theory.
The person you are today is a result of decisions you made like 6, 12, 18 months ago. And you're not that person anymore, but at the time as you were taking that steps, you didn't have this identity you have right now. And it's the same now, where this version of you is building the next identity, but you don't identify it. You don't identify as that yet because you're building it right now. So it's kind of like there's this delay in what you identify as. You have to build it. You have to give yourself the proof. You have to put in the reps. And then you look back and you're like, I am a runner because I ran all these things. But it's kind of like that misunderstanding that you need to feel it before you do it, but actually you do it and then the feeling comes.
Your health, best life by you.
Hey everyone, welcome to Best Life by You, the podcast dedicated to helping you overcome challenges around nutrition, mindset, training, relationships, and well, all of the above. I'm your host, Julia, and today we have an amazing repeat guest with us, Austra Putnina. And today I'm very excited to really talk about this topic in particular. For everybody listening, Austra and I have had an ongoing conversation, and if you couldn't tell in the last episode, she and I are pretty similar. So we wanted to dive more into topics that we know other entrepreneurs struggle with, other females struggle with, other people, right, in the world struggle with. So today we're really going to be covering the topics of self-sabotage and relationship with self. So it's going to be a conversation as usual, but I am going to pass it over to Austra because this was a topic both of us were able to talk so much about. So what would you like to start with that? Because I know you and I could both go down the conversation of how we do it so much on our own and how we've developed that relationship with ourselves, while also at the same time breaking ourselves down and being so hard on ourselves. So let's just talk about that. So what are your thoughts on those two topics?
Even like what you just said, my first thought that came in my mind was self-sabotage and high standards. How a lot of times you can think you have high standards, but you're actually sabotaging yourself. Or it's kind of like, the way I would describe it is, because I had one coaching client, I don't know, it was like years ago, where he was telling me that kind of the pattern was he would set this very high standard, then he wouldn't meet it, then he would beat himself up, and it would kind of go in loops. And he would tell me, like, I don't want to lower my standards. And I'm like, I'm not telling you not to lower your standards, but that beating yourself up part, that is not like helping you. So I think it's like finding that kind of balance between having high standards and not using high standards to beat yourself up. Because there's difference between having high standards and working towards them and pursuing them versus having them as like a reason to beat yourself up for not meeting them.
It's so interesting because over the years I've worked, and I know you've worked with mentors and whatnot to help debunk this idea you have around yourself needing to hit these certain benchmarks at a certain point. And for me in particular, I would say I've spent years being so hard on myself, setting these timelines, creating vision boards, and being like, this is going to happen this year. And what's comical is I'm a woman of faith. People say God, universe, whatever it is. I write things on my vision board, and they're big goals, and they might not happen that year. But for example, one of my clients, my NBA client, I always go back to this example. For in 2024 and 2025, I wrote his name on my vision board that I would get him as a client. This past December, I was like, I give up. I'm not putting him on my vision board. I can't do it. And this year, he reaches out as a referral to be my client. And I was like, wait, what? Like, this is real? This is happening? And so we've been working together the past few months because I have my main NBA guy. And then I picked him up, and now they're in the finals. And I'm kind of hoping he sees it as like, oh yeah, this has been good for me. This has been a good change for me. And I knew in my heart that I could be good. I struggle though. We've talked about this with the imposter syndrome on your podcast about being great because I don't have a title. And what's funny, Austra, is I signed up for, I was looking at online courses and programs and things to do and like what really speaks most to me. And so I was looking into national board certification to be a health and wellness coach. I do that already with my business, and I know how to do it. And I start courses officially June 22nd. But I'm like, let me sign up with this because my ass wants the title health and board. I want the national board certification next to my name because I want more accreditation. I want more credit saying, oh, she's nationally board certified. Instead of just being a certified nutritionist, she has a national board next to her name. So that is something I'm thinking more in the future. But let me tell you, I already started some of the prerequisites, like the pre-stuff for it. And I'm like, some of this I don't agree with. I'm sitting in it and I'm like, I don't agree with some of this freaking nutrition stuff. Like it's BS. And so I'm sitting there and it's going against necessarily my values, but I'm in the course to get this freaking title to be able to sit the board exam because I have to go through this program to be able to sit the board exam next year and pass it with what they want me to know. Not what I believe, but what they want me to know. And that was something I had to come to recognition with, or come to the awareness of like, what is the purpose of doing it? It is just so I can have more knowledge. I can learn more because you could always learn more. And you and I are both overachievers, like in a good way, in the sense of like, we want to do well and we want the next thing. And so for me, it's good to just be in more education courses because I've constantly done education. So I'm looking at it as continuing education, but I'm like, what's the main reason? I want that name next to mine. I want that certification next to my name. I want it right there so people can introduce me as this woman is nationally board certified and this is what she does. And I feel better with that title than some of the other titles that, there are programs out there for. So I sat and I was like, what is my real why for doing this? And it's like, yes, I'm going to learn more, but the real reason is to have that freaking title next to my name. And that's the truth. That's the truth of it. So is it necessarily a bad thing? Or is it to pretty much prove myself more that it's like, yeah, I know my shit, but here's the paper that shows I know my shit even more. So that was something, girl. I went back and forth and I'm like, you know what? I can do it. I just to prove to myself. So I wanted to tell you about that. Talk to me about that.
What is it what do you feel like you want to prove to yourself though? Yeah.
I don't know. It's not proof. My bad. It's not proof to myself.
Yeah.
It's show for other people, especially in America. You have to have freaking credentials and titles a lot of times for people to take you even more seriously. And even though my credentials speak for themselves, being an NBA nutritionist to 2 top athletes that are in the finals right now, and those credentials speak, sometimes I feel like I need something, one more step, something else that I can say like, oh, I have this and I have this and I have this and I have this and I have this. I love learning. So it'll be a challenge to also, continue to get this information I might not necessarily fully agree with, but it is to see again another side of it. So I would go with that. That's probably it's not necessarily proof to myself, but proof to others.
Yeah, because like kind of for me, sometimes it feels like we make this decision and we justify that it's for others, but like you already have high level like people you're working with. And once you get to certain like point, I don't think people really care about the credentials as much as long as you bring result. But that's partly why I asked it, because I think a lot of times what we can end up doing is we make this decision, we say that it's kind of like, oh, others care about this, but it's like, do they? Because they already don't. Like the right people don't
Right.
really care.
You're right. It's
That's why I
true.
asked if there's something else, because there might be something else that you're trying to either like prove to yourself or prove to others that is kind of like deeper underneath.
You know what? I will say, this is, oh my gosh, you sparked something in me, Austra. It's like a proving to my younger self, because let me tell you something. When I became a teacher, I should have seen the stars in alignment. I failed my exam 4 times, had to take it 5 times, the same exam, 5 times to become a teacher, friggin' teacher for English. Yet when it comes to nutrition and stuff, I got it. No problem. I am a wealth of knowledge. And for me, I was always, for as long as possible, I'm a horrible test taker. I get test anxiety. I get this. This goes back to me when I was younger. I had a dance teacher tell me, I can't dance. You can't dance. You have no rhythm. You're not good. You're not coordinated. I show up to do private lessons, which I just did my 3rd hip hop class. And the girl's like,
Nice.
You're a lot more advanced than a beginner. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah, you got rhythm. We just have to learn how to move different parts of our body. Once we get it, you'll be good. She's like, girl, in 6 months, you're going to be busting out moves like nobody's business. And I was like, wow, I can freaking do this. Like, I can be a good dancer. Why did I put in my head for so many years that I can't dance? I can sing, I can act, but I can't dance. And I think it's because I had people when I was younger put me in the back of the class, say, you can't dance, you can't do this, you're not good, you're not coordinated. And it does, when you grow, you get more confidence. I've definitely increased my confidence. And it's kind of like the test taking the exam, because whenever I would sit exams, holy moly, I'd get panicked, anxiety, whatnot. But knowing that I have to go sit a national board exam where I have to, it's a certain amount of time, like people do the bar exam, people have to take it at a certain time. That's something going to be in 2027 that I have to be like, Julia, you know your shit. Don't second guess yourself. You don't need to do this. So in a way, it's rewriting this script from when I was younger. Now that I'm 30 and above, I'm going to do the things that I thought I couldn't do when I was younger. Sitting a board exam, that scares the crap out of me. Doing a hip hop class one-on-one and then recording myself dancing? No way. So it's kind of profound. Like at this point of being 30 and being like, wow, I can actually do these things that I necessarily, when I was younger, was told or put in my head that I couldn't do. So mind blown.
Yeah, it kind of is like proving yourself wrong in some ways.
Yes.
About
What we
things
spoke
that you,
about.
yeah, literally, like what you think you can or can't do. It's like, am I like, did I try? Did I test it? Did I challenge it? And I feel like it's something that we can get, and the older we get, the more we get stuck in our ways, and the more we kind of repeat things, and then it feels like this is actually true about myself, but it's not. And I think it's also kind of relates to that, like self-sabotage, where I actually like Googled what it is. Behaviors or thought patterns that create problems in your daily life and interfere with your long-term goals. So it's like you have this goal of, I don't know, becoming better hip hop dancer, and you don't go to classes, kind of thing. That would be like self-sabotage, where it's kind of like you have these goals, you have these things you want to achieve, but at the same time you do kind of anything but that to actually progress towards that thing. And I find it fascinating how it's kind of like you want it, but you actually don't want it. Or some part of you doesn't want it, or doesn't believe you deserve it, or you're capable of, or whatever might be the story. And that way it's kind of the way I describe it to some people, where it's kind of, oh, I should be further in life, or things like that. And it's like, keep in mind where you started, because where you started might be like 20 steps behind where somebody else started. You might have some trauma, you might have some like issues you need to resolve, you might have like, I don't know, toxic family members, or whatever might be the case. That's your starting point. Maybe you have crooked like self-belief foundation or identity. Like there's so many things you might have where you're not even at the starting line yet. Whereas somebody else, for them, it's like, oh, I want to achieve this thing, I need to take these steps, they just go and take them. Whereas you might be fighting with that like push and pull the whole time, which is exhausting.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a lot of
Wow,
energy.
it does. It does. Like, in just thinking of the definition, what you said with like self-sabotage and what people do, but the older you get, it really is a seeing how much of stuff you stay stuck in. And people, even in relationships, I've seen it. Well, I don't feel like going out and dating again. I'm just going to stay in this unhealthy marriage. It's for the kids. We're going to just make it work. Whatever it is, it is. And it's been such a popular quote. And I say that too of it is what it is. And yes, some things you do have to accept. Some things are very much out of your control. But the things that are in your control, for example, my personal example of hip hop dancing, that's in my control. I have a body that I can move in. Thank God I have a body that I can go ahead and be fluid with and learn to get better. So I'm taking, and what this stage is of 30 is taking those things, and people listening can also do this. Take those things you had told yourself you could not do, or you were not good at, or you were stuck in your body and could not change. And now it's time to test that theory. How can you test it? I thought I was a bad dancer for 20 years of my life. Now I'm 30. I'm going to be one of the best dancers I know. And then same with podcasting, same with speaking. I thought I was all over the place speaking. Now I'm direct. I'm on top of my stuff. I know how to get my word across. I know what I want to say. I'm clear and concise when I need to be. It's practicing those things. And same with people who are going through a weight loss journey, and clients that I work with who are like, you know what, I'm just stuck in this body. My body does not want to change. You keep telling yourself that, go ahead, you're going to stay there. But if you really are putting in that work and that effort, and you seek a coach to help you, just like I am seeking and paying for a hip hop teacher to teach me how to dance hip hop, you could do the same thing. You will get the results. You have to put in the work, though.
Things to share.
Yeah, share. I'll shush my mouth.
Staying stuck. Yeah, staying stuck is a big one. Because even though in the moment it doesn't feel like it's a choice, it actually is a choice. And I think also partly we live in an environment where victimhood is praised. Taking accountability, taking responsibility. First of all, it's harder, but it's not something that you see praised, because it's easier to be a victim. And now everybody's like, oh, like you still get attention. You still get some kind of level of being
sympathy.
Noticed, or exactly, some kind of sense of significance, even though it's victimhood, but you still kind of gain it, and you don't have to do anything but complain. And especially now, it's kind of like, not necessarily disservice is the right word, but I feel like many people misuse the word trauma and all that, where there are people that are like genuinely going through like serious like trauma and healing work, and just because you're like anxious to be in public, it's like, maybe don't go as far as like, I have gone through the whole thing. Like, I have been very out of shape, where like I have so much shame I can't go to the store, and then somebody like would tell me like, oh, you have no idea how it is. I'm like, I do. Like, I know how that is. Or same thing with being in social environments where I would feel like very anxious, and my body is like, let's leave. And I stay. And not only stay, I look for more of those so that I can do exposure therapy. Does it feel good? No, but it's kind of like whatever has happened to you, or even like with generational trauma, it might not have happened to you, it might have happened to your parents or whatever. It goes like down from generation to generation. It's not your fault, but it's your responsibility. So it's just understanding that like, it's not your fault, but it's your responsibility to work on yourself, heal yourself, address that thing, work through it. Is it easy? No. Is it fair? Probably, depending on situation, but maybe not. But so what? Like, you still need to do the work. It's kind of something that I think we need to, it has helped me, even when it comes to self-sabotage, to take a step back and be like, okay, I don't like this situation. I can look for all the reasons to be a victim. And there was a time that I was victim. And even like, I think it was like a couple of months ago, where I had this situation where I felt like, just for a moment, I just want to feel like victim. Like, I just want to cry. I want to feel bad. And there was something in me that was like, no, we don't do that. Like, we don't do that. But there was a time that it was like, just like this, you're a victim. And I feel like it comes with practice, where you do take that responsibility. You show up for yourself, even with like the weight loss. I have reflected a lot on the weight loss, because I did the half marathon. It was like a full kind of loop moment where The first half marathon that I did was the same route, and I finished second to last. And I barely finished. I was very out of shape. And then with this one, I was literally, as I was running, I was trying to spot who is the last person running, because that was me 2.5 years ago. And it's kind of like that realization that like I was there dying at the end, and now I'm not at the end. And I didn't even like train for it. It was a couple of weeks prior that I signed up for it. And I think that's where like the victimhood is something that I feel like it's a bit advertised too much. Not that you never can be feeling bad or feeling sorry for yourself. There's time and space for that, but just don't sit there. Don't kind of permanently live there. And with taking the accountability, I think there's something that I have seen a lot where people are kind of, they want to change their identity. So let's say you identify as a victim and you don't want to be a victim, and it's like, I need to have new identity and then I'm going to do the thing. Getting back to the weight loss example, I, even with running, I still don't think I'm a runner. And I have finished 5 half marathon, like half Ironman. I don't think I'm a runner.
What do you think constitutes as a runner?
But even
what do you
like
think
with
makes
that,
a runner?
But even with that, like one of my friends was asking me like, why does it matter though? And I'm like, I don't think it does. But I think that's where we get so stuck in that identity. It's not about what you identify as. It's about what you do. It's not about you identifying as fit person. It's about doing what fit person does. Like even for me, I'm like, this is probably one of the like strongest that I have been and leanest that I have been in, I don't know, good 7 years. Do I see myself as such? Not necessarily, but does it matter? Like I'm still taking the steps. I'm still seeing the result, where what happens is, and I noticed this in myself and in others as well, where there's a delay in identity. Like the person you are today is result of decisions you made like 6, 12, 18 months ago. And you're not that person anymore, but at the time as you were taking that steps, you didn't have this identity you have right now. And it's the same now, where this version of you is building the next identity, but you don't identify it. You don't identify as that yet because you're building it right now. So it's kind of like there's this delay in what you identify as. You have to build it. You have to give yourself the proof. You have to put in the reps. And then you look back and you're like, oh, I am a runner, because I ran all these things. But it's kind of like that misunderstanding that you need to feel it before you do it, but actually you do it and then the feeling comes.
And you feel, wow, girl, you're so profound. All this stuff. Like I'm listening and I'm like, yes, this is what I preach. This is literally what I talk about. But the way you said it was just incredible.
I've done a lot of thinking.
I highlight that. Yeah. But it's so true. And I tell people this, I literally wrote this in my book about the version of you now, people who have back pain and all these health issues in their 40s and 50s. It did not just show up. It's a repercussion of what you did in your 20s and 30s. You think that just because you turned 40, you all of a sudden have all these health issues? No, it's because of what you chose to do when you were 15, 20, and 30 that now lead to what's happening at 40. It's not something that just happened. And that is something I have to sit and educate people. And I'm like, everything you're choosing to do today is what's going to impact you in your future. We talk about the most basic example is a retirement fund, right? Retirement fund. People are like, why do I need to save money? Why would I put away money? Why would I do that? For what? For the future. I'm living in the right now. But so many people do it so that they can be well off in the future. So the person you're forming today is so that you can be better in the future. It's not necessarily right now. Those habits that you do every single day. And I will be brutally honest with you. I'm somebody who's a nutritionist. I write all these menus of healthy foods and all of that. The amount of days that I have long freaking hours, I keep hitting my hat, the long freaking hours of working 12 to 15 hour days. Sometimes it's coffee. It's my 1,000-calorie smoothie, which is, again, all whole foods. It's wonderful. It's so healthy. My protein shake, apple, walnuts, and then it's a Chipotle bowl. Sometimes it's a frozen pizza, vegan pizza. Sometimes it's frozen vegan chicken nuggets. Sometimes it's frozen black beans and ain't fresh. Sometimes it's pasta, pre-made pasta at the store. I throw it in, 5 minutes, it's done. Microwavable food. It's not always perfect. And that's something I've been brutally honest with, which is kind of comical that I write all these meal plans of all these healthy foods. I mean, granted, I don't have a chef or somebody that's cooking for me, but for me particularly, my priorities unfortunately have shifted to yes, I take care of myself. I work out. I get my water every day. I get my 8 hours of sleep every day. I stop coffee by like 1 o'clock. I do the good habit things, the foundational parts that I need to. But the version I was a few years ago, who was eating so clean, healthy, preparing these beautiful meals over the past year, I've not been that girl. I've been the girl taking care of everybody else, making sure they're eating healthy. And for me particularly, I'm like, I used to be like 90% whole food, healthy, plant-based. I'm still plant-based, but like whole food focus, making sure I get every single thing covered. Now it's like probably 60% whole foods, 40% processed shit. And I'm having the chips and guac. I'm having those things. And yes, I'm enjoying my life and I'm fine. But part of me just sits back and I'm like, I'm annoyed with myself. I get annoyed with myself. I'm like, why can you tell
Self-sabotage.
everybody, literally, I'm like, why can you tell everybody to be so good and so good and so healthy with food? But when it comes to yourself, you're like, no, I'll just get the Chipotle. Let me throw in some pasta. Let me just do my typical. And it's not like it's so unhealthy, but it's more unhealthy than I'd like it to be. And I go into blaming. I go into blaming hood. And my blame hood is, this is a sad excuse. You ready for this? When I had my 2 ex-boyfriends, when I lived with them, I would cook very healthy meals for them. And I would have the healthy meals for them. I would meal prep everything. It would be a fun thing. Now, I'm like, why would I care? I'm cooking for myself. Throw in the microwave rice, throw in the air fried tofu. So what? It's just for me. Doesn't really matter. And I have the lame excuse, and this has been a more recent thing, of just like, I don't have the time. Because again, even today's the day. I started at 8 a.m. I'm going back to back to back to back all the way until 9 p.m. tonight. I'm going to have to swing by the smoothie joint and pick up a smoothie, or I'll make my own smoothie. But like, I might have to pick up and text in a bowl and order a bowl on the road because I can't dedicate a half hour to cooking food in the kitchen today. So my lame excuse is, well, when I have a husband or boyfriend and we have each other, I'll cook healthy food. I'll make time to cook healthy foods for us. And that has been my downfall as somebody who's in this field. And again, 60% whole food. My coach reminds me all the time from Australia. She goes, Julia, you're still healthier than half the population. It's just
More than that.
you're not at the healthy point that you are putting that standard to be. She's like, so what if you go and have the processed stuff for a whole year? You're still having your healthy smoothie, your beets, your flax seeds, your hemp seeds. You're still getting everything nutritionally like covered. So what if you have oat milk in your coffee and this? Like, she has to remind me because I am so hard on myself of like, well, I'm doing the microwave rice instead of cooking it. Well, I'm doing the air fried tofu and I'm having like this pre-made pasta butternut squash that's vegan every single day. Like, I get to be so hard on myself that I will stock my fridge with broccoli, with everything, and then I don't touch it. And I'm like, what are you doing, Julie? It's like, I try to put it in my face to eat it, to be like, Julia, this is the version you're trying to be. Eat what's in the dang fridge. And then I'm like, well, there we go, wasting food. Now the broccoli's gone bad because I didn't use it. It's like I'm trying to make these efforts intentional. And then when I'm like, 20 minutes to cook a stir fry, can't do it until 9 p.m. tonight. 9 p.m. rolls around. Like last night, I get home at 9 p.m. I've finished with everything at 9 p.m. And I was like, I don't want to cook dinner. I don't want to do it. But you know what? I was like, let me do something healthy. Let me have apples, cashew butter, and little dark chocolate chips, which was a better decision. But I'm still sitting there being like, you wanted to cook your stir fry that you bought all this stuff with, and then you didn't do it because you're exhausted. So that has been something I truthfully have been struggling with the most is nutrition. When I'm in the position of nutrition, which again, I know I'm healthier than most of the population, but I'm still not at my standard of where I want to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to try to make yourself feel better if you compare yourself to others, but you know what's your standard. So that's where like
Yes.
it probably won't work on you. But
Yeah.
even like at what you said, I would say that standard probably is something that is Like, it's just non-negotiable. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
like, if it's a standard, it's like, I just have to find a way. And also keep in mind, it depends on the season. I know that for me, I intentionally try to do like 75 hard when I have
Yeah.
intense season, like right now. I literally started a couple of days ago where I'm like, okay, I need to make sure I don't neglect my exercise. I don't neglect like water. I don't neglect like diet. Because I can easily be, and this is another thing that came to me as you were talking, is that the more intense the period, the more important is the regulation. And if you're less regulated, it's easier to make those decisions that are not the healthiest. So it's not always just about facts of healthy, not healthy. Sometimes it's regulation. And that plays huge role. When I am very stressed and I'm not regulated and I have very busy day and it's late in the evening and I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna order some like takeaway. I don't care. And I can justify it away all I want.
Yeah.
But that's what I have accepted as a standard in that moment. But also in that moment, I'm dysregulated. So in that moment, it's not like my cognitive part of the brain is working. It's more like the monkey mind is like, okay, we need to do something with these emotions. We have learned that binging, eating something unhealthy usually works. So let's do that. And the other thing I think I wrote down, this was like very interesting because you said that if you're now like not cooking for your like partner that you would be with, like why would I care? It's like you said like why would I care? It doesn't matter. It's like so you don't matter kind of thing. Like it's
And I
kind of
know
like
I matter.
exactly. Yeah. But it's kind of like deep down, it's like, oh, kind of brush it off. When you're with I can very relate to that because it's kind of super easy to go into that self-neglect when everything feels more important. Your clients, or like if you're in a relationship, then like your partner, and you will make sure you take care of your partner. So by by default, it will spill over into you. But it's kind of like, why is it that there needs to be a partner for you to do that for yourself? And that's something that I think is even with self-sabotage, like this goes into the second part of kind of that like relationship with yourself. The stronger is the relationship with self, and the more not only self-love, because I had this interesting question that I would ask people. Would you prefer to be loved or respected? Because there's a difference. And
respected, I feel like.
Yeah. And it's the same with self-love and self-respect. And with you can love yourself and not treat yourself nicely, but if you respect yourself, you will end up loving yourself because you show yourself respect and you show it through actions.
It's so on point because I respect myself enough where even with situations dating, I don't date. I haven't dated in years. It's not to say men have not asked me out. It's that I hold a standard for myself of what I accept, that I'm not going to accept anything less. Like there are certain expectations that I respect myself enough that there are guys that came back in the past from the past and I'm like, no, why would that is the biggest disrespect to me. If I go back to what you were and how I felt, I was crying over you. You think I'm going to go back to you because of that? No, I respect myself way more than that. And
yeah,
so
and you
for
learned
me,
a lesson.
yes. And I really do believe my self-respect is very high, that my boundaries are pretty good in general. I've worked on my boundaries for years with one of my coaches, and even the self-respect aspect, like I respect myself enough to walk away or to shut my mouth or to not say something, or even to not participate in group outings or group events because of something that makes me uncomfortable or whatnot, or somebody's going to be there. And I'm like, I don't want to dip into that. I don't want to be
Yeah, but this is in regards to others. But what happens with yourself when you're at home and it's like that's like evening and you're like, I don't feel like eating the broccoli, or like that's I feel like a lot of times it's hard to distinguish, when not even hard to distinguish. It's kind of like there's layers to that, because the self-love, self-respect you have, you already are showing it even by the lifestyle you live, the decisions you make, that if you compare it to the general like population, like you're ahead of like 90% of people pretty much. But then like knowing the standard that you have and kind of the person you want to be, there comes like extra layers, extra kind of, I don't know, I find it very interesting even like with the boundaries and dating. For me, I know that when I would be in the phase when I'm like, okay, I'm not dating, I'm focusing on myself, hard to find somebody that is and
Yeah.
and then I realized that I was trying to protect myself. I actually wasn't open. I was kind of in this, like that was the place that I was in, where it took me a while to realize that I wouldn't even let anybody close. I would by default be like, no, no. But I didn't even give. I'm telling you, I'm seeing that. I see that. Because
Everybody, no, go ahead, and then I'll tell you.
Because I'm literally going through that right now, where I'm practicing to be open. Because when you're open, that's when you're vulnerable. That's when you're not in control, and that's where you even like energetically, you open up space for somebody to actually come in your life. But if it's that, oh, this guy, nope, this guy, nope, this guy, nope, you will always find a reason why it's a no.
Yeah, but I think there's also a difference between openness and standards.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
For me, I've had situations. There was a guy I did like and stuff, and I put myself out there that I would go see him and stuff, and he wasn't like reciprocating that. And it's funny because I'm like, I really like this guy. I would have done it. Like I would have went and saw him, and he didn't reciprocate that. And I was like, no, I deserve better. My husband, I've been starting to say, my husband would never. My husband would not be like that. So, and then there's other guys who are, and again, I keep meeting men who are going to be very similar to what the person I end up being with is like.
That's already a good sign. You're moving into the right direction.
I am, because I notice around more and more, I'm meeting men of like, wait, you have a lot of traits I will want in my husband. And I keep meeting men. Even this one guy, like recently, he's like 1% close. Like if it were him, plus something, like that's it. Like it's there. It's so there. Like I know what I'm looking for. So I think it's filtering through too, because like being asked out or being, talked to and things like that. I know my own standard too of like there's certain things, and energetically speaking too, I know this is not somebody I want to be with. So it's not necessarily I feel like I'm open because there was a situation recently, 100% would have made time in my schedule. 100%. We're doing this. We would make it happen. But the feelings weren't reciprocated. I liked him and it's not reciprocated.
Yep.
So, or at least to the same degree I would want it to be in. And so at least that openness is there of that person. But then there are other guys that have come in or messaged me, DM me, and I'm like, no, you're being left on red, or I don't want, like, this is not what I want. Energetically speaking, I don't want this. And there's certain traits, and there's like, it's just something I don't want to be the girl that's like, yeah, I got the ick the first time I met my husband. Like, no, I want to be like, no, I thought he was cute. And I thought that, like, I already know what I want. I don't want to be disgusted by the man and then end up liking him because he's harassing me so much to go out with him. Like that's not
I mean,
the kind of relationship.
That's not really a man. I wouldn't call it a man, but
no.
I was thinking, because I know it was kind of what I did, is using standards as a way to either control or, because I realized that when I was doing more of the, or like I got back to like dating more, that I started to use like my what is it? It's kind of like I had these standards. It's like a kind of like a checklist kind of list.
Girl.
Yeah, you know it. Yeah.
Checklist.
But you know what I did with that is I actually didn't pay attention to the guy. I actually didn't connect with him because I started to look at him as this like, oh,
interesting.
Yes, no. I actually wasn't present. I was in my mind being like, oh, does he meet the standard? And it's like, was I actually present with him? Like, I wasn't in the moment. Like when I would, I don't know, go on a date, like I'm like, okay, is he this? I don't know. I'm already and that's the thing is like, I was thinking, I was not being with him. And that's when I started to realize, okay, I want to change that, where the standards are still there, but the way I would show up, I'm not really inviting his best version with the way I would show up, because it would be kind of like already not default like judgy, but it's like, I want to protect myself, so I need to be certain about you. But it's like, now I come from energy that you have to prove yourself, instead of like, I'm just curious to get to know you, be with you, spend time with you, and kind of like and it's very uncomfortable, because I'm so used to masculine being in control.
Me
Exactly.
too.
And that's where I think it's kind of like stepping into that uncomfortable where and it's also, I feel like partly it's I watched this like very interesting clip on how like with relationships, a lot of it always comes back to you, regardless of what's a relationship, where like, what is your experience, what are you learning about yourself, like the person is mirroring you back to you. And
Yeah.
I
Yes.
realized that when I would previously be, let's say, like on a dating app, and I'm talking I'm not even emotionally open to meeting somebody. And that was the moment when I started to be like, what am I doing? Like, you're kind of, that's what the app is designed for. You're just say, oh, swipe, 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 chat, chat, like, oh, whatever, next. And you're not actually, you don't actually try. You're not actually here. You're just like, okay, what's next? What's the list? Ah, he drinks. No. Next. And you don't actually see that person as person. There's no way you actually connect. You don't give it even a chance. And
I will tell you. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I did a bet with my friend that on Halloween last year I would do it. I've never done dating apps. She was like, please let me create your account for 30 days. I said, fine, because she harassed me for 2 years. Because she's like, you've been single for 4 years. You've gone on one date with a friend of a friend, and he ghosted me. And I was like, I don't want this. And so I mean, I liked the guy. I was just like, it wasn't it. It wasn't it. And there was one guy, the guy I was referring to earlier, who I met 2.5 years ago. And I was just like, every fiber in me was like, this man is it. He's it. He's my man. I don't know how. I don't know what, but he's my man. We've spoken on and off throughout the years, stuff like that. And hopefully he doesn't listen to this. But
You're not saying
anyway,
any names.
I'm not saying any names. And it could be many different guys. No, but anyway, we had spoken on and off throughout the years, and then recently had a really good conversation, and still my feelings were so strong for him. And we only met once, and FaceTimes and stuff, the rest of it. And so when I had pitched that I would go visit, it wasn't like reciprocal. Like the what I was expecting from him as a bare minimum wasn't even presented. And then I was like, oh, he does not. He's not it. Like there wasn't, and I could give you more context, just not on this podcast.
Yeah.
But it was that could be BTS stuff. But I was like, wow, like this is disappointing. Like you're not even meeting the basic standard, basic of my lowest bar for this. So it to me was kind of eye-opening and upsetting at the same time, because I'm like,
but also
shit.
I feel like important part is communicating where the other person, it's kind of like we have these standards in our minds, but also like a lot of people, they have many different backgrounds and experiences, and I feel like for the right person, we will be willing to learn of what is it that you want, what does make you feel like special, or things like that. It's not that it always has to be the case, but I feel like and I have been thinking about this, where we kind of had this friend who said that like pretty much like he can't have a girlfriend because she would know kind of what to do in certain situations. And I'm like, you
But
can
you teach them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is that I feel like we have this, and I do blame kind of the environment that we're in, that we have this. And it, by the way, it goes back to all our standards, our relationship with self, everything. That it's kind of this idea that you will find this person who gonna check off all the boxes. They will do everything perfect. Whereas kind of the way, and I was in that space. Now I'm in that space a bit less, where I'm like,
Yeah.
is that person somebody that I feel like they are willing to
Put
be
in the work.
flexible or
Yeah.
improve, or even like value things that are important to me, to the level where he might choose not to do something he usually would because he knows that I appreciate him doing this or doing that,
Yeah.
where where he might not have lived that way. He might not have like previous relationships where the woman was appreciating that, or the kind of whatever is the thing, where I think I'm looking more of that, or I'm becoming less of a black and white thinker in this.
Yeah.
And I'm becoming more of that, like, let's look in colors and let's actually see, explore, and be more open to what can happen, and also not to and that's a hard one, is not to jump conclusions about the person, because I feel like it's in many ways I want to blame the environment that we're in, because it is not supporting us to actually like get to know each other. Because if you don't like one thing, I have 50 other options here. Like, I just need to find one thing wrong with you and I will go on to the next one. And all you really do is you connect only at the surface level. Like, you never actually get to really know the person. Like, how many people you would meet that you actually don't deeply know them. You haven't given a chance to actually connect and get to know each other. And that takes time, space, presence. And a lot of times we don't have that. We just jump from kind of like, doesn't meet the standard, move on. And I also feel like this is another important one. You have to live the standard yourself. Like, you have to be the person that's
100%. You have to be the person you would want to be with. And that's something I've been practicing as well. And I've said that over and over. I actually, years ago, had written a list. When I went to this church, the pastor had asked me to write a list of like everything, somebody should want in a partner or whatever. And I said, you should want yourself. You should want the best version of you, or you should want that person you are today in a partner. Like, you want to be that great partner. Like, for me, I'm always supportive, kind, generous, caring. Here, I'll buy your coffee. I'll buy your this. My hope is my partner would be the same, reciprocate that as well. Be as generous, as understanding, as kind, as motivated. Like, it doesn't need to be at the same level, but there needs to be some sort of balance of like, you're going to be taking care of your health. I take care of my health. You're going to be doing this. Like, I do this. Like, there needs to be some sort of balance in that. And that's where the standard comes. But for you had said dating apps. After the 30-day, I was supposed to have 2 dates. Both of them canceled on me. One canceled right before. The other one just dropped. And I was like, I don't want this. I was like, what am I doing? I literally said for years I did not want to go on dating apps. For years. I know inside. You know your own intuition. You don't have to do the dang dating apps. You do not have to. I didn't want to. My friend was like, just do it for fun. So I did it. And I was like, I hate this. I hate it. Did 30 days, canceled it. I had one guy on the app who I was supposed to go on a date with, who actually just wanted me for a job and wanted to get all the things, yet was promoting on the app that he had all this money. He wanted to take care of a woman. Yeah, when we got more to talking, all he wanted was he was like, can you connect me with this person and this person? And like, I'm looking for a job and this. And I was like, this is pathetic. I don't want to be on this app. I don't want to be on this app. And so I deleted it. And I never again want to go on an app. My person is not on an app. I will meet them. If I met this person in a situation, the one that I thought I was like, oh, I'm going to marry this man. If I met him organically, a chance of a million, I am going to meet my person in a similar way. It's not, if I can meet this person and have such strong feelings and have had it be amazing and we have great conversation and I just met you on a one-off thing, I'm going to meet my person that way. It's not going to be on a dating app. Some people, it is on a dating app. I have people who have great success on dating app. That is completely fine. Completely fine.
Everybody has their own thing.
Julia does not want to do that. That's just me. Not, you can do it yourself. That's totally fine. I'm not against it at all. I support it. You get to look what you want to do. But for me, that's not what I want to do. It's not.
And that's the importance of knowing yourself. And like, it's, and also not just knowing yourself, but like trusting it as well, where it's, I mean, I don't want to exhaust the dating topic or dating apps.
You don't have
like,
to. Yeah.
Because like it's, I think in general, a lot of it is understand yourself, trust yourself, and don't, if there's something you, even like when it comes back to yourself, like if there's something you don't like in yourself, like be curious about it. Don't be judgmental. Like try to understand like, I wonder why do I keep sabotaging myself in this? Why do I keep making myself suck? Because I'm the one that's making decisions. So I'm contributing to the results, and just be curious. And also I feel like you can go and reach out for help, especially if there's like some people that are like-minded or safe space. Like you can message us, like
Yeah,
I
literally.
like
Austra and
and
I are great. You can message us, talk to us. That's why we're doing
stroking
these
our
every month.
egos.
We're literally doing this every month because we think very similarly.
Yeah, like it's I mean, we started the self-sabotage, but we ended up going into the dating, but
Relationships, yeah.
it's like if you sabotage yourself, you will see exactly the same thing mirrored in your relationship. Like
Mm-hmm.
any relationship, friendships or partnerships or like business relationships, if you don't respect yourself, if you sabotage yourself and you don't have strong relationship with yourself, others won't respect that. Like people can read you. So if you don't have that strong relationship with yourself, others will not respect it.
Yeah.
They will step all over you and you will allow it because you don't respect yourself.
You're also going to meet people. The more you respect yourself and take care of yourself, the more you're going to meet people that are at the same level and mindset as you. I look at me and Austra. I remember Stefan connected us and he was like, you two are very similar with your mindset. And he's like, he asked me, he's like, do you want to be connected with her? He's like, I think you two would have like hit it off. And I was like, yeah, of course. If it's somebody that's like similar mindset. And I've been so fortunate recently to be having people on my podcast in the health, more plant-based like health community, where it's like, it's such a mind, like very connecting where these podcasts energize me. Nothing's draining me. Nothing's like, it's leaving me thinking. It's leaving me asking questions. And it's just amazing that like you can connect with people this way, just like us. We don't live near each other, but the fact that we have that connection and the mindset and we could talk about these topics. I know we didn't need to go to the dating, but I feel like dating is it's one of those things, one, you can't really control. You can't control timing. You can't control how somebody feels about you. You can control when you're going to get this task done for work. You can control when you're going to write your own book, but you can't control dating and that partnership. You cannot
Yeah.
control when that person, you can't make that person like you. You can't control the timing of it. Even though we think we can, it's one of the hardest
Illusion.
things. Yeah, it is. It's one of those harder things, but you really do see that person. Somebody had said that to me, like, oh, why? They had asked me a while ago, and I was just trying to turn the guy away. Like, I did not want to talk to him. And he was like, why don't you want to date? And I'm like, I just am not in, I'm into my business, because I did not want him to ask me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be mean, because shoot your shot, guys. Shoot your shot, women. Shoot your shot, men. I fully support it. I was just, there's certain guys I'm like, I don't want. And he's like, you should look into dating though. He's like, it's so good because it does give you that mirror of yourself. And again,
That's the
great
space I'm in
person,
right now.
whatnot. And that's, yeah, I'm like, that's interesting. And you know who you feel energetically who you like want to connect with and stuff. So yeah, girly, I'm with you on that. You learn so much more about, and you really learn about yourself when you are in the trenches with them. You go on traveling with them. And like, part of me does want that. Part of me is like, dang, I want to go on a trip with a guy. Like, start it off that way. Go on a trip, just see how we are together. So I
Yep.
can watch how I am with them. Like,
And you
Jessica,
learn so much, not just about
yeah,
him, about
about
yourself. Like
you. Oh my gosh,
that's
yeah.
why, like for me, I didn't really date for like quite a while, and now I'm
Yeah.
like I feel like I have done as much work as I can kind of on my own. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah. It's
I need
time.
to continue work
Practice.
in interaction. Like there
Yeah.
needs to be kind of
Well,
this
I'm with
like,
you.
yeah, so that's where you
Oh
have the most
gosh.
triggers.
I know, literally. Well, I mean, for everybody listening, Austra and I are gonna continue our conversations. One every other month, she'll be on Best Life by You. Every other month, I'll be on her podcast. So you guys will be able to listen in. And again, I'll put her information below.
Any topics you want us to
Yeah,
cover, let us know.
yeah, please put it in the comments below, because we're going to just cover conversations. And I know a lot of people just like listening to conversations too. Some people are like, I just want to hear what you guys have to talk about. Like, that's
Yeah,
why a
we
lot
would
of the
talk for
podcasts,
hours.
yeah, we could. I know today I was like, oh, I want to, but today's just a crazy freaking day. But next month, at least at your podcast, I'm gonna start making my podcast instead of 1 hour, 75 minutes.
Okay.
I'm gonna start having bookings for 75 minutes, because 1 hour does fly by the time we're talking, like, and then we actually get to recording. So, but you and I are professionals at this, so we can just get into it and then do it. But Thank you, everybody, for listening. Definitely tune in, continue to follow Austra and her information. And I will see you all next week. Let's continue to keep living your best life. Take care.
Thank you so much for listening to the Best Life by You podcast with yours truly. I hope you go ahead and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and stay up to date with all the latest information. You can also follow me on Instagram at Julia_BestLifeByYou for more humor, podcast information, and all the above. I hope to see you soon, and let's continue to keep living your best life.